Okay, Friday, June 21st, Salt Lake City, Utah. PFL regular season round 2 of the lightweights and light heavyweights. For our first fight of the main event of second round, we have a light heavyweight bout between Alex Polizzi and Antonio Carlos Jr. Alex Polizzi's last fight against Kasanganay was a sad fight. He lost by TKO easily in the first round. Coming into the fight, it's known Polizzi is a wrestler, and this showed when he started getting hurt and rocked and he started stumbling everywhere. His reaction and his instinct was to shoot in on Kasanganay. Unfortunately for the wrestler, he's going up against Antonio Carlos Jr., who's an incredible submission artist. Both gentlemen don't have great striking. It's not developed, especially for Antonio Carlos Jr. being in the UFC and having so much experience. His striking is still very, very rudimentary. It is a fight that I do see even Polizzi engaging a wrestling transition, and it's not going to end well for him. I think Carlos is going to be able to defeat this man within the first or second round submission. Second fight of the main card, we stay at light heavyweight. We have Dovlet Yagshimuradov versus Simon Biyong. Starting with Simon Biyong, his last fight was against Antonio Carlos Jr. He got submitted towards the end of the first round. Unfortunately for him, he didn't show anything. He didn't show resistance or good defense and just got caught with a slick submission. He wasn't able to showcase anything at all. His opponent, Yagshimuradov, on the other hand, had a spectacular last fight against PFL's 2023 light heavyweight champion Nedoh. Now, despite knocking out Nedoh, his striking didn't look too crazy, but I can say this: it was explosive, it was fast and sharp. I don't see Biyong being able to do much to Yagshimuradov. I don't think he can stand and trade with him. He's in the danger zone. And when it comes down to the wrestling, I don't think he's going to be able to do much. The fact that he got submitted so quick by Carlos, granted it's Carlos Jr., but still, the fact that he got submitted so quick, I just don't have too much hopes. I see Yagshimuradov finishing Biyong in the later rounds. Third fight of the main card, we stay at light heavyweight. We have Rob Wilkinson versus Josh Silveira. Let's start off with Josh Silveira. He was pretty much the runner-up in last season, lost to Kasanganay, and in his last fight we weren't able to see much because after securing a takedown on his opponent early in the first round, his opponent tapped because he dislocated a digit. On the other hand, Rob Wilkinson absolutely destroyed Tom Breeze in the first round. He looked strong, he looked sharp, and he looked like he definitely had that killer instinct. Once he heard Tom Breeze, I mean, it was over. He jumped all over him, did not give him a second to breathe. Based on the Kasanganay fight from last year, because I can't make much of his last fight, Silveira reminds me very much of a Michael Chiesa, a Court McGee, where he just seems kind of stiff. He's not bad, he can strike, but he doesn't wow me, and he's rather slow with his punches, with his takedown, with his scrambles. It's more like he depends on his toughness and his greediness to keep pushing forward. If Rob Wilkinson comes in with a gas tank, which we don't know because, like I mentioned, his last fight went so quick, he's going to be able to beat Silveira. If he doesn't come prepared with his cardio, Silveira's he's gonna drag him into deep waters. I don't see Wilkinson being able to really hurt Silveira to put him away in the first round. And like I mentioned, as the fight progresses, I favor Silveira. That being said, Silveira wins by unanimous decision. Fourth fight of the main card. We go to the lightweights finally, and we got Patricky Pitbull versus Bruno Miranda. Bruno Miranda in his last fight got controlled and submitted by Brent Primus fairly easily, and tapped in the first round. I tried to find something good even in defeat, but Bruno Miranda offered nothing. Just sat in guard, got worked until he got rear naked choked. Patricky Pitbull, on the other hand, always exciting, always a fun fighter. Lost his last fight against Collard. It seems like he gassed out, and maybe it's just me, but his definition physically, I don't know what's going on, but he looks soft. Still, in a loss, Patricky was explosive, aggressive, and absolutely still 100% dangerous. Patricky's gonna win however he decides to win. If it stays standing, prepare to see a brutal TKO or KO over Bruno. If it goes to the ground, prepare to see Bruno tap cry uncle again. Patricky Pitbull, first or second round stoppage. Fifth fight of our main card. We go to the light heavyweights. We got Impa Kasanganay versus Jakob Nedoh. Jakob Nedoh, the winner of last year's tournament 2023, came in and just got absolutely blasted out of the water in the first round in his last fight. Impa Kasanganay had a beautiful destruction over Polizzi in his last fight and ended the fight in the first round. It's not looking good for Nedoh because Kasanganay has the same style as Yagshimuradov, where they have snappy, explosive punches. They slowly stalk you down and take you out. When it comes down to the striking skills, I see Kasanganay as a more refined, a little more accurate and sharper striker as Yagshimuradov. This fight is ending in the first or second round, TKO or KO. Impa Kasanganay wins. For our sixth fight and our main event, we stay with the lightweights. We have Cassius Clay Collard versus Mats Burnell. This is going to be our barn burner of a fight. It's going to be such a fun fight until Burnell goes down. Let's start off and shine a little bit of light on Mats Burnell. His last fight, he fought Michael Dufort, and he had such a fun and exciting fight until he got stopped in the second round. What I loved about Mats is that he's those fighters that literally walks forward no matter what. He has a pretty good shell defense, keeps his hands nice and nice and high, and just walks forward. He embraces the fight. I can't emphasize enough how much I love these kind of fighters. And not only did he march forward defensively, he did absorb some punches, but he made it a fight. This is the kind of guy that marches forward, lets you throw 1 or 2, and then he starts unloading on you with everything. Jabs, straights, hooks, knees, kicks. He is such a fun fighter to watch. Clay Collard, on the other hand, is exactly the same. He's a little more reserved. He tends to watch and pick his shots more carefully, But it's the same deal. We got another guy that walks forward and he's not afraid to get into a fight. I believe by now Clay Collard is a sort of staple for the PFL. They've put him up against the Anthony Pettis, the Shane Burgos, and in his last fight, Patricky Pitbull. It's almost as if he's the litmus test and he's passing it with flying colors. And much like Burnell, Collard is the guy that just walks forward. He's not going to take a step back. He's going to get in your face. He's going to pick his shots, but he's going to get in your face and he's going to make it a fight. And if it goes to the ground, he's pretty scrappy. He has incredible scrambles. He's never in a boring second of a fight. What I believe almost could possibly be a fight of the year candidate. I have Clay Collard still winning though. He's more resilient, and that's it. Burnell did eventually fold over to DeFort and lost in the second round. And I see a similar thing. Collard's gonna come with the Collard pace, right? With a pretty steady in your face pace, and eventually Burnell will break down second, third round. Clay Collard by TKO.